always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome to the GSMC Entertainment Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Cynthia, and I am joined today with Sarah.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. I'm a little cold. Today was very windy here in Northern California, which I was actually kind of excited because it really feels like fall right now.
Right.
And also Thanksgiving is right around the corner. It's in about, the 3 days, and Christmas is exactly a month away. So
that is true. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm super excited. I love this time of year, and I feel, again, I think the cold weather just made me even more excited today. So
I was very excited when I was talking to my mom on the phone over the weekend, and I looked at the weather app, and it was supposed to be like a high of like 49 next Saturday, and I was so excited.
Well, yeah, because it's been extremely warm lately. I still sleep with the fan on.
Yeah.
So, but not last night. I was able to sleep with a warm blanket. So super exciting times. But again, we are not here to discuss weather updates for you guys.
Come on.
I'm actually really excited. I feel like I say this on every show, but I am really excited about some of the things we are talking about today.
Okay.
One of those being the Victoria's Secret show being canceled. Not that I'm like happy that it's being canceled, but I mean, I grew up, I remember in high school watching religiously around this time of year, early December, ABC airing the Victoria's Secret show every year. And I really looked forward to it just to see all the musical performances. And I loved seeing all the lingerie wear and the wings. Did you ever grow up watching the Victoria's Secret show at all?
Well, it wasn't around when I was growing up, but but no, I've never actually sat down and watched it. The wings are amazing. I have to say that. I mean, they look really heavy.
I know. I give them props because I feel that's probably 20 pounds,
yeah.
Probably more. I think they've actually announced back then how heavy some of the wings are. And there was actually one angel that wore a metal one.
Oh, geez.
And it was almost 50 pounds.
Wow.
I know.
That could ruin your health in some ways.
I know. You have to have a very good posture, I feel like.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, absolutely. And a strong core.
Mm-hmm. So as I just said, they just recently announced that the Victoria's Secret show is canceling. But to be honest, there's been some speculation for a few months now, since May. But they just finally confirmed that they will not host the annual runway show this year.
So it's been going on for a while, right?
Since 1995.
Has it ever been canceled?
This is the first year.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm going to go over in a bit some of the whys. But to be honest, I'm not even surprised that they're canceling it, especially with the rise of, there's a lot of startups, online sellers. Now, there's one actually that called Booty Bag.
Okay.
And it's a monthly subscription. So you subscribe to the service and they send you underwear to your doorstep.
Okay, see, now I'm just thinking of those services where you get clothes and then other people also get those clothes, and that wouldn't work with underwear. That's gross.
No. So it's not like Amazon, because I know Amazon, you can even rent clothes.
Right.
But you definitely don't rent the underwear.
Right.
But there's it's just so crazy how technology and just everything with social media has changed things in so many industries. Mm-hmm. One of those being the lingerie industry. Les Wexner, who is the executive VP and CEO of Victoria's Secret sister company L Brands, announced on a quarterly earnings call, and I quote, "Going forward, we don't believe network television is the right fit. In 2019 and beyond, we're focusing on developing exciting and dynamic content and a new kind of event delivered to our customers on platforms that she's glued to," meaning Victoria's Secret, "and in ways that will push the boundaries of fashion in the global digital age." So digital marketing, aka social media.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm not surprised. Usually the show occurs about a month in advance. So they air usually the runway in early December. I remember that. But they actually start filming in November. But they started losing views because the models of Victoria's Secret models / angels would post their looks right away. So people were already tuning in way before it was actually televised on air. So already that's how Victoria's Secret started losing kind of this very like popular pop culture event, just because people are like, well, why am I going to tune in? You know?
I already saw everything.
But not only that, the brand there's been a lot of controversy with Victoria's Secret lately. They earned a reputation of being fat phobic and transphobic. So,
well, I have a lot of people that I've heard complain about Victoria's Secret over the years. I've never shopped much at Victoria's Secret just because it's very pricey. It's not the top price range for lingerie, but it's up there.
It is.
But they don't have sizes over a certain, cup size, band size. And so I know a lot of bigger women, I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, but, bigger busted women can't find bras in their size. So why would they shop there?
No, yeah, I absolutely agree. And me, actually, I used to be a consumer at Victoria's Secret, and the underwear as well is just very tiny. It's not very inclusive, and that's the whole wave right now with brands. Is inclusivity is such a big thing right now, and Victoria's Secret is not keeping up with. I don't even want to call it a trend because it's not a trend, but Victoria's Secret just hasn't,
kept up with the times.
Exactly.
Really. Yeah. And I just remembered I went into Victoria's Secret before I got married. I was looking for a bra that would go with my wedding dress. And I asked a sales lady, and she was so dismissive. And she's like, no, we don't have anything like that. Whatever. She just walked away. I'm like, okay.
Rude.
Wow.
Actually, I've had a few times. Yeah. And that, again, I'm a big online shopper. I hate going into stores for that exact reason, because a lot of times in stores like that, I feel like right when you walk in, they just like, boom, judge, right?
Yep.
And especially Victoria's Secret, they have this like stigma of like, if you're not pretty, if you're not thin, like, I can't help. I don't know. It is weird because I've experienced some weird things like that as well when I walked into the store, and it's like, why, where's your customer service at? You know? But I'm still not going to talk to your manager. I'm like, I'm too lazy to do all that. But yeah, as we said, inclusivity is a major issue that Victoria's Secret has been facing, and especially with former Chief Marketing Officer Ed Razek. He made a comment that upset a lot of people, saying that they should not have trans or plus size models in their Victoria's Secret shows because the show is a fantasy.
Whoa.
And I'm like, hold up.
Fantasy doesn't include. Okay. Wow.
I know. And because of that comment, they experienced so much backlash. Sales dropped. Again, last year's 2018 show had the least amount of viewers tuned into the show because he made that remark of last year.
Oh, wow.
And to kind of reverse the whole, the controversy, they hired a plus size model, and this is crazy that they call this person a plus size model. Her name's Allie Tate Cutler, and she's a size 14. And when I saw her, I saw images of her. I'm like, she
normal?
represents, she's normal, looking. Like, nothing about her is really plus size. She's not, a toothpick. She's not like the previous. She's not a size 0, but I wouldn't consider her a plus size model. She's your average, looking woman that most women look like her. So I'm like, that's just crazy to me that they consider her a plus size model, her being a size 14. And then Victoria's Secret also hired their first ever openly transgender model. Her name is Valentina Sampaio. But regardless of them trying to hire a plus size model and a openly transgender model, they already faced, all the criticism, and a lot of people are now viewing these hirings as like, oh, well, they don't actually care about.
Right. Just a stopgap. They didn't do it because they are inclusive. They just did it to try to get better press.
Right. It's a business move. Like, it's all business. So again, it's just, times are changing, and Victoria's Secret hasn't been keeping up with those changes. Like right now, it's also a lot about female empowerment and body positivity, which I'm all for, and I love all that. And the one lingerie seller that has stepped up to the plate, and I feel she is the real reason why Victoria's Secret is canceled, is Rihanna's new line, Savage X Fenty. And Rihanna released this line. She dropped it in May of 2018. And did you ever watch her fashion show? It premiered in Amazon. So that's another thing too. Rihanna's smart. She listens to the people. She knows people. It's all about streaming right now. So she actually aired her lingerie show through Amazon Prime. So it was instant. And I'm going to cut into a break right now because that's a whole nother segment I want to get into later about Rihanna's fashion show. So when we come back, we'll talk more about Savage X Fenty.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now, don't bother, what's hot on Netflix, and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Guys, and welcome back to GSMC Entertainment Podcast. Right before the break, Sarah and I were talking about the Victoria's Secret show, and this year being the first year that it cancels its annual runway show. And we're going to move on to Rihanna's new line, Savage X Fenty, which again dropped in May of 2018, and who I believe really pivoted the whole inclusivity, body positivity aspect of lingerie lines. So Victoria's Secret it still actually is the leading lingerie brand in the U.S., which is valued at $13.1 billion with a 24% market share. And that number has dropped since 2013. And sales are continuing to decline. And again, I put a lot of that onto Rihanna's new line. Rihanna I wish, if you have not seen her show on Amazon, please go watch it. That was the very first show where she truly captivates what it means to be inclusive. She even had a model, I want to say this the most politically correct way. She had a disability. I think she had a cane. I don't really know what the terminology is called. It's like a cane, but she had someone with a disability. She had, and the plus size, I guess, all different types of body types were represented throughout the show. She had Laverne Cox, who is an actress, model, openly transgender activist. So she had everybody on this show. She also had a lot of amazing performances. Migos, DJ Khaled, Big Sean, and so many more appeared at the show. And even the runway, it was, I don't even know how to explain it. There was like stairwells, and it wasn't just like your straight runway catwalk, you want to call it. There was twists and turns, and there was water. And I really liked how Rihanna wanted to highlight everybody's abilities and talents. They're like dancers. The dancers in the show were absolutely amazing. I was so captivated from start to finish. I was super, super drawn in. And another really cool thing about Rihanna's Savage X Fenty lingerie line is that the entire line is at an accessible price point. It's way, way cheaper than Victoria's Secret. They have for Savage X Fenty, it's like 2 for $29, 2 bras for $29, which I'm like, that, okay, if you know Victoria's Secret prices compared to that's a steal right there. So again, Rihanna has been experiencing tremendous success in the short time frame that she has launched the line. And Normani, she was in Fifth Harmony's singing band, she actually became the first celebrity Savage X Fenty ambassador. So you can see Normani appearing in this year's holiday campaign for Rihanna's lingerie line. And again, you guys, if you go check out, I'm not sponsored by here, but I really support what Rihanna's doing, from her makeup line to her clothes to the lingerie. Everything just screams inclusivity, and her stuff is really cute. Also, it's not just, like the message is very important behind a brand, but her items are good quality. I have personally purchased Savage X Fenty items. They also have, I'm very big into robes. I love a good silk satin robe. Mm-hmm. And Rihanna has some that are they just make you feel like royalty. I have one. I splurged on one.
Nice.
And it's a very long cape gown robe. And I just love waking up in the morning, putting that robe on, drinking my iced coffee, and I just love starting my mornings that way. So I just really support the brand, and I love that Rihanna actually listens to the people and caters to everyone. And again, that's the whole point where I feel Victoria's Secret's kind of missing out on. They're not really tuning in to what the people are asking for. The public has been telling Victoria's Secret for a long period of time how this clothes isn't inclusive and how the models, it's not a fair representation,
right.
the angels.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. I feel like representation is so big nowadays. Barbie dolls, are now of different skin tones. And, what kind of message are you sending to the younger audience, especially young girls watching the Victoria's Secret show, and you're telling them if you're a size 14, you're not considered beautiful, or you're not considered a fantasy, which again, that's who the chief marketing executive.
You can be a
stated.
model, but you have to be considered a plus size model because you're a size 14, not a size 0.
It's crazy. Exactly. And I think Rihanna doesn't even name her models either. She doesn't say oh, she's a plus size model. She's that, none of that is included. None of that terminology is included with Rihanna, which again, I absolutely love.
Well, and I'm looking at some of the pictures, and there's a very pregnant model.
Which,
I
forgot about
you
the
never
pregnant.
see that.
Mm-hmm.
So pregnant women need underwear too.
Absolutely.
They don't always just want crazy big maternity underwear.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When I thought of inclusivity, I'm being totally honest here, I was thinking, difference, shade, skin tones should be represented, different ethnicities, different body types. But Rihanna really opened my eyes, because how you're looking at the images, she had a pregnant model. I'm like, that's being inclusive. She had someone with a disability and someone who's openly transgender. So all of those things, all of those different groups of marginalized people are always underrepresented in the media. So I just love, again, I'm just so passionate about this. I just love Rihanna and I love how all her companies and businesses really tie into that message that no matter who you are, where you come from, you're beautiful exactly the way you are, and you don't need to change or conform to society standards. So
right, and that's the thing about there's another pregnant model, different one. That's the thing, is that you don't. Sorry,
get your words.
Just because you're not you don't conform to that image doesn't mean you don't want to feel pretty, and you don't want sexy lingerie sometimes, or you don't want comfortable lingerie, or you don't want just something. Right. You want something that it reflects your personality and fits your body type and makes you feel beautiful.
Exactly. So. I'm all about comfort. And that's something that Rihanna provides, is comfort. For me, when it comes to lingerie, I don't really care about being sexy or like being sexy lingerie. I'm all about comfort. So
yeah,
and that's the thing too with Victoria's Secret, they're not that comfy. Like if you've bought for again, it's the sizing is off.
It's the sizing.
It's really, really off. So I applaud what Rihanna has done with Savage X Fenty, Victoria's Secret. You know, I think they're taking some notes from her and from other online sellers. And
no, if they're not, they probably should be.
I think they are, and it's definitely paying. I mean, they're paying for it now because they had to cancel their 2019, annual show. And to be honest, from just some of the reviews and critics that I've been reading online, a lot of people aren't too depressed about Victoria's Secret being canceled. They're kind of like, well, we're past that,
Yeah. I'm not terribly upset, but I didn't grow up watching it, so it's not something that in my life that I'm like, oh man, I look forward to that every year.
Yeah. So, like I said, go watch Rihanna's lingerie show because that's gonna give you a very different perspective, and it's almost like shame on you, Victoria's Secret, in a way, just because it's like, how have you not, evolved yet to the different times now? So. It's just, yeah.
Or go in a completely different direction and do like I've been doing and just go watch holiday baking shows.
Or that, right? I mean, now's the time, yeah.
That's pretty much all I've been watching is holiday baking shows.
And that's going to conclude this part of the show. And when we come back, we're going to move into the American Music Awards. So we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hello and welcome back to GSMC Entertainment Podcast. Right before the break, we were just wrapping up about Victoria's Secret being canceled, and we're now moving on to the 2019 American Music Awards.
More awards shows.
I know. I swear we have more things to talk about in the show, but right now it's the end of the year. Yep. Everyone's just kind of handing out awards left and right, recognizing who's the best, who's on top.
If it's not Christmas, it's awards shows. That's really just the time of year.
I know. And again, I'm so bad at watching them live. So shout out to YouTube because that's really how I keep up with it, and Twitter.
Well, now going off of what we were talking about in the first couple of segments, you're just going with the times. People tend to watch stuff on YouTube. They don't, or on streaming or on DVR. They don't always watch it live. So you're just cool that way.
I know, and that's why I actually don't have a TV service at home, because I'm just like, I don't really watch TV. Like, I know whatever is airing live, I'm gonna catch it the next day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why?
We don't have cable or anything either for us, but
yeah. My laptop, that I can't live without. Because the laptop, that's how I watch all the award shows.
Yes.
So Sierra, she hosted this year's American Music Awards, which was live this Sunday from LA. And the ceremony started off with Selena Gomez. She opened up the awards show with her performance for her two new singles, Lose You to Love Me and Look at Her Now.
Lose You to Love Me?
Yeah.
I'd have to listen to the lyrics. That makes no sense.
I know. That's a thing with a lot of artists and their song titles. I feel like it doesn't even have to make sense. Just kind of whatever catches, like what, you know, entices you.
It would make me go look at the lyrics because I'd be like, what the heck? Is that a sentence fragment? I'm a dork. I know, it's okay.
And this was actually, I didn't know, this is her first television performance in 2 years.
Because she's been having some mental health issues, hasn't she?
Right. And she had like some transplant. I know her best friend gave her.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about that?
So maybe it was just health issues, not mental health issues.
Yeah, I think
But she's been having health issues of some sort.
But she looked great, honestly. Like, she was out there. She was killing it. Looked beautiful. And other performers included Travis Scott, Taylor Swift, of course. We have a lot of talk about Taylor Swift on today's show. Shania Twain, Camila Cabello, and Shawn Mendes. And, again, many more.
Shania Twain's still happening? I'm not trying to be mean. I mean, but that's great because she's been around for a while.
That was my exact same thought too when I was watching the show. I was like, oh, she's still around, but she's very relevant. She actually presented one of Taylor Swift's awards. I believe it was either Artist of the Year or Artist of the Decade. One of those. I can't remember at the moment. But the one performance that really caught my eye was Taylor Swift's. So she opened her performance for her Artist of the Decade award, which that was already awarded to her prior to the show being live. And she opened up her performance with the feminist anthem, The Man. Have you heard to that song?
It's called what?
The Man.
The Man. Okay, I thought you said Theme Man, and so I had to double check.
No,
The
Man.
Okay.
Yes. And Taylor Swift and her dancers, what really caught me were their costumes. So if you didn't catch last week's episode, Sarah and I touched on legal contracts, legal actions that Taylor Swift is having with her used to be record label, Big Machine label group. So in Sunday's performance, her and her dancers wore like long white button tees, almost like they look like men's shirts. Mm-hmm. And with all the names of her albums plastered all over her shirt. So 1989, Red, I can't remember the other album title, but they were all over the shirts. And on the back of the button-ups, the word Fearless was typed across. And the font, what was even more interesting to me was the font was printed in like prison font. You know, like prison guards and like they have like the numbers on the top right.
Oh yeah.
That was the lettering all over her clothes, which I thought I'm like, what a good, is it like metaphor, I guess, for her situation?
Right.
I don't really know the word or what the word is, but that was her. She let the music and the performance do the talking for her. So I think many people believe that it ties in with the legal issues and situations she's going through currently with Big Machine label groups. So that was her way of speaking out because the label group were telling her that she was not allowed to perform any of her old songs at the AMA show. Mm-hmm. Again, due to like contracts and other legal stuff that I need to have not the best understanding of. So I just thought that was a very almost like classy way of doing it. It's like, oh, like I'm here on stage. And she actually did perform her old songs on stage. So she performed Shake It Off, Love Song, and Lover. So I'm not sure what that means for the future with Big Machine label group, but I'm assuming they're figuring things out.
Right.
And Love Song.
Or they're going to sue her.
I know. I'm like, I don't know.
Idea how that works.
Maybe, I know. Who knows? One or the other, right? Maybe she's like, I don't care. Like, I'm reclaiming my music. So that's really the whole issue is that she was told she's not allowed to play any of her old songs, but she did. So kudos to her. And it was a great performance. She really took the audience through like a journey with Love Song. Love Song, I think that was like when she first started on her career. She's had a 15-year streak going on right now. So she's been in the music industry for 15 years. And Love Song was the first song that I heard from her when I was...
Was that her first crossover? Because I know she started in country music.
I think so.
I
know she started.
Right,
she's more like country pop to me, or maybe just even pop. Mm-hmm. But she did have a great performance. Everybody in the studio or in the entire arena stood up. That was the only standing ovation that happened during the American Music Awards. So
can I just jump in here and say, holy pink, Shania Twain? Wow.
She said, holy pink. Yeah.
She looks lovely, but she's pink and ruffle, and there's a sparkly pinky purple guitar.
There's a lot going on.
She went with a theme, let me just tell you.
I don't know if she was trying to match Taylor Swift, because Taylor Swift also had like this really pink and gold gown cape thingy. Right? Am I thingy? I'm calling everything a thingy.
Well, yeah, because we don't really wear pants anymore in the music industry.
I know.
We wear leaves.
What is it? Really quick, what is it about celebrities and like once you hit that, I guess, status that you're able to like wear the weirdest things and it's okay?
I believe Beyonce.
Right? Like, why? It's so strange to me. Like, I don't know.
I mean, go ahead.
All right. They're like, well, I'm making millions now, so I can wear whatever I want.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to go out of the house without pants, but that's just me. I'm also not making millions. So.
And Taylor Swift she was the most awarded artist in AMA's history. So she won again Artist of the Year, Artist of the Decade. So Sunday she won 5 awards in total, and she has won 23 throughout her career. So she's the most decorated artist for the American Music Awards at the moment.
And she apparently broke Michael Jackson's record. With
this. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so
that's impressive.
I mean, kudos to Taylor. And she's throughout her, I will give her that she has experienced so much drama in her music career, like how we said in the last episode.
Yeah, I can never tell if it's like if she creates it or if it just swirls around her, or I mean, she definitely uses it to her advantage. But
absolutely.
I'm never sure how much of it is sort of
like real
promoted,
right.
or I don't know.
Well,
but
nowadays, like any attention, good or bad, is it's good at this point. So, I mean, but still, good, awesome job to Taylor Swift for being the most decorated artist. Other awards that were handed out at the AMAs. That's so hard for me to say. I'm like, AMAs. Carrie Underwood. She took favorite female country artist. Cardi B won favorite rap/hip hop artist. Favorite female soul R&B artist. Of course, Beyonce. I feel like Beyonce always, whatever category she's in, she always wins. I think it's just because it's Beyonce.
She's Beyonce.
It's Beyonce. Right. And Lil Nas X won Rap Hip Hop Song of the Year for Old Town Road, which that one got me a little confused because I thought Old Town Road, you've heard that record, right?
Yeah.
Do you consider it to be like country, pop, rap? Like,
it's country rap.
Country rap.
I think that's what it is.
Right.
Something like that. But
yeah, because I mean, they did appear at the Country Music Awards. He ended up winning like
it's a fusion.
It's
a fusion of country and hip hop ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so successful, because it's all about collabs at the moment.
Well, and I'm sure Billy Ray Cyrus is happy to have something that's not Achy Breaky Heart to be known for.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that song. And so those are just some of the awards that were handed out at American Music Awards. So I'm going to get a little bit into some of the drama, I guess. I don't even want to call it drama. It's just speculation that happens at every award show. So people were commenting on Jenna Dwayne that she was quote unquote shading. Do you know what it means to shade someone?
I assume it means like throwing shade, saying something not inappropriate, something like kind of rude, kind of derogatory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what it means. So people were commenting, assuming that Jenna Dwayne was shading Camila Cabello during her performance, calling her extra. But that is not true. But it was all over Twitter when I was reading. They're like, oh my God, Jenna Dwayne was shading Camila Cabello. I'm not too sure like what their issue is, or like if they dated like a guy in the past, the same guy. I don't know. But Jenna Dwayne did clarify on Instagram stories saying, I was not shading Camila Cabello. Like, I love her. People just want to like, people live off drama at this point.
Yeah, they do.
And also a lot of speculation occurred with Halsey, that's her name. Halsey's her acceptance speech, saying that she was shading the Grammys.
Ooh, so much shading.
I know, it's all about the shade right now. So people were saying I did watch her acceptance speech. Personally, after listening to it, she was mainly just talking about how the music industry isn't what it seems to be, that these awards, that while she was trying to get into the scene and growing to be an artist, she thought that winning an award at an award show was some type of validation for her, that like she had made it. But she was telling the audience, like, if you're someone who's trying to pursue this path, don't let these award shows fool you. And people assumed that she was shading the Grammys because I believe she either didn't get nominated for any category. So, and they actually just released the Grammy nominations last week.
Okay.
But Grammys aren't taking place until January. So we'll talk about the Grammys later, but
we'll get to that.
But yeah, so I mean, is she really talking about the Grammys? I don't know. This is just speculation. It's just like what people thought she was talking about, the underlying message of her acceptance speech. But I just have to take a quick moment because my favorite part of the entire show was Lizzo's tiny Valentino purse. There are so many funny memes going on right now.
Oh no.
She came in, and Lizzo, most people have, if you have seen her, she is a woman.
She would not be in the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
She would not. No, she would not be considered for the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
But she rocks that lingerie in her videos.
She screams body positivity, and that's why I love Lizzo. And she really has that like F you, like I don't care what you have to say about me attitude, which I applaud that because that's very hard. She's breaking a lot of stereotypes in this music world. So, but anyways, getting back on topic, that tiny purse made a huge fashion statement. In the red carpet interview, the interviewer was asked her, like, it was literally so tiny. I can't even. It's like so a small.
Tiny. It's like, what is it even?
What do you compare it to? Like, it's as small as what? I'm trying to.
You could maybe keep a dime in there.
Literally, and the way she carries it is just laughable,
like
right?
Two little fingers. It looks like let's see, depending on what generation you are, like Polly Pockets or one of those toys that have the
Polly Pockets. That's like that is like a little Polly Pocket toy thing, but it's so tiny. It's so
Valentino.
Cute.
How much do you think it cost for that tiny little purse?
Probably like a car payment. I don't know.
Yeah. She looks like a cupcake too.
She does.
I don't mean that in a mean way. She's very
the orange
pretty.
flowy dress.
It's ruffly, but yeah, she looks like a cupcake.
And in the red carpet interview, the interviewers asked Lizzo, like, what are you carrying in that tiny purse? And she states, I don't think this is true, but she's like, I'm carrying a tequila flask, condoms, and a tampons.
Yeah, there's not enough.
There's absolutely not.
Unless it is a Mary Poppins purse, which would be awesome.
Right, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it expands. I don't know. But there's like memes going around Twitter right now where Lizzo asked her fans, she's like, can one of you Photoshop me where the purse is my size and I'm the purse size? And there's like a big purse like holding Lizzo delicately in the same way she's holding that tiny purse. Nice. I don't know if you can find it on Google right now. Are you able to find it?
I'm not seeing it yet, but I might not be typing in the right thing. So.
But yeah, it's super funny. And she actually said that it's one of 3 in the whole world.
Oh, wow.
So it is definitely not accessible. You cannot go into the Valentino luxury store and find the same tiny purse that she's carrying around. So overall,
I'm sure you could find something. It's just not that purse,
But it's tiny. It is tiny and it is very cute. But overall, the AMAs, it was a great night. It felt like a celebration of friendship and just girl power and, the future for female artists. I loved that while I was watching the show, every performer that was on stage, like all the girls were literally like cheering them on so hard. Like Selena Gomez was going so hard for her best friend, Taylor Swift, which is like that would be me too if that was like my friend performing on stage. Like, I'm going to go all out for you. So I really love that like female girl power that I witnessed during the American Music Awards. And you guys, we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we're going to move on to Coldplay and no tour on their part. So we'll be right back.
Golden State Media Concepts bring you Book Review Podcast, a haven for bookworms of all ages and the widest genres, from mystery to memoirs, romance to comedy, fantasy to sci-fi. If you love to read, this is the podcast for you. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Book Review Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to GSMC Entertainment Podcast. And I promise that's going to be the last break for today's episode.
Haha, maybe.
Maybe she said maybe. I know. We can't stop talking. And moving on, we are going to be discussing Coldplay. They recently just released an album titled Everyday Life. However, you will not expect a tour from them in the upcoming year due to environmental concerns. So Coldplay, the lead singer, Chris Martin, announced to BBC News that the band will not be going on tour for their new album until they can offer carbon neutral concerts, which if you think about it,
That would be hard.
that is really challenging.
It's an impressive challenge, but wow.
And I didn't, until I read this article, I sat back and thought, I'm like, wow, concerts really do produce like an immense amount of waste. There's always, when I go to a concert and like when they turn the lights on, it honestly makes me upset. There's like so much trash everywhere and like plastic and beer bottles and beer cans everywhere. I'm like, you can't just like take a few steps, like carry your trash and throw into a trash can or like recycling bin.
Yep.
That's a whole other discussion. But yeah, so they are not going on tour to reduce carbon footprint. They're taking the time to work out how their tour can not only be sustainable, but can be beneficial as well. So they're all about what can we do to, instead of take, give more. They want to give back, and that's really, they're trying to find a whole solution to that, which again, that's going to be really challenging. And if they're able to pull that off, kudos, and I hope every other artist follows their footsteps.
Well, I can't imagine. I mean, just the logistics of a tour, even beyond the mess, like you said, but just getting to your, unless you're having a tour of one place where you, in your hometown, you have to drive or fly or,
and that's
I don't know,
right.
charter
And
a boat.
And that's exactly my next point that I was going to make right now, that they even said in the interview that the hardest part is actually flying, because obviously you're touring for them, different countries, different states, and flying, aviation causes there's a high carbon footprint just for flying. And so they're trying to figure out a way, I guess, how to travel without flying. But I'm like, that would be really challenging, especially if you're going overseas.
Somebody needs to invent a teleporter or figure out how to apparate. There's got to be something. Flu powder.
I always say that. I'm like, for like when people say, so off topic. When people ask,
I get it though.
When people ask, what's like, if you can have one superpower, what would it be? I always say teleport. For me, one is for environmental reasons, but two, I honestly hate traveling. Like I love visiting new places, but I hate like flying. I hate going to the airport. I hate checking in. I hate waiting at airports, especially if they're like delaying flights and driving. I hate driving too. Like, I'm just lazy. So.
Well, I just want, my whole family's still in Montana. And so, when they're together, the entire family, but me and my husband are together for family dinner. I'm like, couldn't I just, disapparate and apparate in the kitchen and just be there for the evening and then come back?
Right.
It takes, 17 hours to drive there or all day to fly.
Wow.
Because
Have you done that drive before?
Oh, yeah.
You pack a lot of snacks, I bet. A lot of travel essentials.
I've driven Montana to Pennsylvania and back, Montana to Texas and back. Just moving and stuff. But
oh man, I don't think I'd even have the patience to do that. Like, and my body just cramps up. Like I'm like, I need to stretch. And anyways,
yep. Anyway, what were we talking
I
about?
know.
Coldplay.
Coldplay. So, like I said, flying, that's going to be the hardest part for them to figure out, especially since their last tour had 122 shows for their album, A Head Full of Dreams. So they're in demand. A lot of people want to go to their show. So, I mean, we'll see if they can figure it out. And according to the European Aviation Environmental Report for 2019, domestic and international aviation accounted for 3.6% of European Union member states' greenhouse gas emissions in 2016, and is expected to grow by at least 21% by the year 2040. So Coldplay, the lead singer Chris Martin, he actually spoke about this report in the interview he had with BBC News. And when he read that report, that's really what kind of something clicked in his mind. And he's like, what can I do to not be part of the statistic, I guess? Which I really like that. I mean, right now, a lot of brands and businesses and just everyone's trying to figure out what, with climate change taking a huge toll right now. I mean, it doesn't even feel like fall here in California at this point. But a lot of people are trying to do the best they can to reduce their carbon footprint and to reduce their waste and just make the planet cleaner and greener. And their ultimate goal is to have a show with no single-use plastic and to have it largely solar-powered.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and other artists have actually followed their footsteps and have also taken a pledge to become more green. Like Billie Eilish, she also said that she wants her shows to be as green as possible, as well as the band, the 1975. They've also pledged that they'll plant a tree for every ticket sold to their shows, and they're actually going to stop producing new merchandise T-shirts, and instead they're screen printing new designs on recycled shirts. So yeah, like artists are really doing what they can and using their platform to also bring awareness, because not everyone believes in climate change. Some people, like our president, believe it's a hoax, but that's a whole nother story. And I really like this idea, and I hope that others can also hop onto, I don't want to call this a bandwagon because it's not a bandwagon.
But I appreciate when people, groups, whomever, try to think outside the box. Okay, so, it doesn't matter what you believe. It's taking what you believe and trying to figure out how to improve that. If if you're worried about climate change, how do I try to improve that in whatever corner of the world I'm in, with the skills that I have. So I appreciate when.
Yeah, me too. And I like I said, I didn't even think about how much waste is produced at concerts and shows and festivals until I read this article with Coldplay. I'm like, oh wow, I should think maybe twice about going to a concert. No, I'm kidding. But Coldplay, they actually today, November 25th, Coldplay also hosted a charity concert at London's Natural History Museum, with all the proceeds going to environmental law nonprofit called Climate Earth. So again, they're doing the best they can to bring awareness, raise money, and they're donating all the proceeds to environmental law. And how you said, Sarah, I appreciate that, and I absolutely love that. And I hope they can truly succeed and find a way to make their concerts more sustainable. And if they can make it where completely, what did they say, carbon neutral, that would be absolutely amazing.
Well, and if they can figure it out, then other people will, because not everyone wants to try to figure these things out, but they want, they do want to participate, but they're happier when someone else can figure it out. So other people will follow. And you guys, that's going to wrap up today's entertainment podcast show. So we spoke on Victoria's Secret being canceled, a little bit on Savage X Fenty, Rihanna's lingerie line, the American Music Awards, and Coldplay not going on tour. So a lot of things happening in the entertainment world. And if you want to keep listening, catch us next week. Sarah and I are going to keep discussing more in entertainment. But don't forget to leave us some nice comments, 5 stars, any stars, but we like the 5 stars. And let us know what you think. And that's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, and happy Thanksgiving.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast. part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.